This is the original engine, and you'll recall the head doesn't take off. Now that's created me a problem because I've had it to a reputable engine builder, and he's got a problem in that you have to bore this particular engine from the bottom, and you will see that with his massive boring bar, they're all the same basically, he can get to these two floors, but he can't get to the end ones because his equipment hits these before it gets down to the cylinder. So there's a developing problem with that, which I'm sure is resolvable. So in the meantime, I've decided, for that reason and because I want to drive this car, that I'll have a go at fitting a alternative engine, which is an engineering challenge, and that's what I enjoy doing, so that's what I've decided to do. And the engine I've decided to fit is from a Reliant Robin. They're 848cc. It'll give a much better performance than this old side valve engine, and I'm hoping I'll be able to drive it in modern traffic. It's supposedly done 40,000 miles. I've done a compression test on it, and I think it'll run quite adequately. I've cleaned it down, I've painted the bits that I can paint black to make it look prettier, and generally cleaned it. In fitting it in, there's various problems, and some of them were at the front here. You'll observe I've sheared off this fitting, though that's the only original fitting I've been able to leave in position. This one at this side I've cut off completely, and I've put this fitting on to replace the one I've taken off. As I go around, I haven't had much to do to here, excepting I can't get the oil filter on, so I intend to blank that off. When you come round to here, this is the starter motor, which originally on a Reliant Robin fits there, which means this thing is too far out for my car. So I've turned that to there, and I can just get it in by a cut out on the chassis. So that's that mod. And what fits here is the alternator, which is down on the deck. And this fan fitted on the front of here originally, well, on the original engine, but getting it into my car, there's no way I can get that in, so I've got rid of it and fitted an electric fan, which will be obviously driven from the battery. Eventually it'll nominally fit somewhere here, like that, and that will explain to you, it's more in that position. And that will explain to you that there were no way I was going to get a fan in there. That's why we did the mod we did. Notwithstanding all that, it'll still be somewhere like that. So there is little problems, like I've got to get a pipe from there to there. I've got to get a pipe from there to there. So there's some serious bit of plumbing to do here. This is the clutch. As everybody will know, the only thing I've had to buy, I bought a new thrust bearing, and that will be fitted back and used. Now, to get the drive from the engine, I've had to modify what was a gearbox and bell housing complete. So I can use the original clutch shaft, which fits in that bearing there, and in a bearing here, and allows for operation of the clutch. You'll see bits and pieces I've had to cut off here to get the starter motor in. Additionally, this is the mechanism that goes through there for operating the clutch. Originally it fitted that way. I'm going to have to make it fit that way for my particular car. As we turn this engine, obviously I've had to adapt a exhaust system to it, and I've used an original Reliant Robin one with major modifications to it, but it's not too difficult. So that's been done, and it's ready to fit on once the drive shaft comes. That's the engine more or less prepared. It's ready to go in once I get the drive shaft sorted. Now this is the place it's going, so obviously there's been modifications here. And the most obvious one is this large cutout in this bulkhead. I'm actually going to fit this in to reinforce it and make it solid again. So that'll get painted up and will not look too untoward. That's to accommodate the rocker cover on that engine so that I can take it off. This shiny area is where the alternator is going to impinge on the chassis, so I do expect to have to cut a little hole in it, but I don't see any problem with that because it'll be smaller than this hole at the other side. I don't think it weakens it significantly. Additionally, I've had to bend the pedals out of the way. Well, this pedal, this is a clutch pedal. Originally it operated over here, but it's the back of the alternative engine, so I've had to bend it from there to make it come over here, and I'll have to put some extensions on the inside pedals to compensate for this change position. Additionally, you'll note that there's a mounting here to take the front mounting at that side. I've put this one on here to take the front mounting at this side, and the back mountings, you can see this one better, it's there with the rubber in it ready, and there's an equivalent one at the other side. So they're the changes that I've made, slight change I've made to the chassis. I've made that fits loosely in there and move about, that's so that I can take it out afterwards. And this is the size of the pilot hole in the engine. So in effect, if I put that in there and stick it on there, I know that when I put the engine in, it's got to go onto there in the pilot hole and be free to have any form of alignment. Now, to get the alignment at the front, I've used this very technical piece of wood with a piece of tape on it here, and in fact it goes through the starting handle hole and is a reasonable fit. So in effect, when I put that through there and I set it to there, that's the position front to back that I want it at. And all I do is the nut on the end of the crankshaft, I make it line up with that, and I know then that it's lying, because if you notice it's at a slight angle, downward angle, it's lying at the angle it needs to be and generally lined up. Operating that lead, that foot brake pulls all these 4 rods. Well, like a modern car, all the 4 brakes operate together, but are interlocked together, so you can't put the back brakes on without the front brakes. You've got an handbrake, which I've demonstrated the ratcheting before, but it operates through the same system. So when I pull the handbrake on, if you notice, it pulls all these 4 rods on, just like the foot brake does. And if you notice, the foot brake's down, because it overrides the foot brake.